Hey guys, Brandon Woolham hanging out here in Nashville today with my friend Josh Wright. How are you, man?
I'm so good. How are you, bud? It's good to see you again.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've had you in this office. The
Yeah.
first time with this brand here.
Okay.
So let's start with just kind of the Josh Wright story, a little bio piece of Josh Wright for folks on GodTube who've never heard this name yet.
Right, right. Well, I'm new. I'm new here. So, I was raised on a farm in Texas and I had a great family, great consistent upbringing. And then I moved to Nashville. I went to Belmont and I did a TV show, and I'm still here, decade later, decade plus later. And yeah, honored to be here with you today.
Yeah, and over these 4 years I've known you, you've been working on this debut album. I feel like this
Yeah.
entire 4 years. We finally have the album.
You're right. I know. I was like, we put a pause because I had done single after single after single. And then my friend Shelly Moore, shout out to Shelly Moore, she has five co-written songs on the record. If you look at the deluxe record, she was like, bro, you've done an EP, you've done singles. It's time to like plant the flag and say, okay, I'm doing this for real. And nothing makes a statement like that than an album. And then we also have a deluxe album coming out as well. So we're here. We are here.
Yeah, that album Lead, it's out there streaming now on
It is.
Spotify and all the services.
Right.
Talk about where the title comes from.
Oh, well, the title track Lead is one that I wrote with Shelly and Blessing Offor. And they say write what you know. And so whenever I was making the record, it felt like every space that I walked into, I was in some sort of leadership capacity. And obviously, God is leading our lives. And so I feel like I was learning how to follow him in a closer way. And I felt like through that process of growth, he was allowing me to be in certain situations. Like I was HOA president for a couple years, and then I have a real estate company, and then I lead worship at Nashville Life Christian Church, where I've been for over 13 years. And so it just felt like every space that I was walking into, it required a different level of accountability, a different level of leadership, a different level of influence. And so and what I've learned is humble yourself before the Lord and he will lift you up in James 4:10. And I've seen that really played out in my life in a real tangible way because I had stepped away from music for about 7 years. And so when I felt like God was calling me back to this, and it was just with Josh Sing, and I felt like God started saying that thought continuously was like, it's time. And then I had friends, and then friends of friends would say, hey, we think it's time. God didn't give you this gift to just be silent. And so no matter what happens with this album, this is my yes to that invitation to sing.
And as people listen to this album, they're going to recognize several names on there.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about some of the collaborations that came to be on this project.
Oh, man, what a gift. What a gift. They say this is like a 10-year town, and I'm here to validate that's probably true. Where do I start? So Blessing Offor, mention him. He's a friend. He actually sang background for me at Belmont.
Wow.
We were good buddies there, good friends. Love is his gift. He's still a friend to this day. He invited me to his new album release, and I was like, man, I wish I could be there, but I'm going to be in Florida. And so anyway, Blessing, Jamie MacDonald is singing background on 2 songs. So she's singing background on Lead, the one that I get to
sing. She's had quite the
today.
jump since she probably recorded that song with you now. Her name is everywhere right now.
Her name is everywhere. Yeah, she has been on a meteoric rise. But we were working together right as that rise was already starting. So it wasn't the before story. It was like the engines are like the gas is being put in the rocket,
Awesome.
in that capital rocket. But yeah, so she's singing on that one. There's a new song called Nobody Loves Like You that's coming out on the deluxe record. It'll be a single and then the deluxe. And then I got to work with Byron, Mr. Talkbox Chambers. He's the intro to 24 Karat with Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
He's been on tour with NSYNC and Toby Mac. Wendy Moten, who got second on The Voice and won a Grammy with Vince Gill with the Tom Jumper. She and I are doing a version of I'll Take You There with Keith Thomas, who did the original BB and CC. I shouldn't say. He did the cover of I'll Take You There. The Staples Singers did it originally. Then he did that #1 song. I believe it went #1 with BB and CC. And then I call him up. I was just like, hey, do you think you'd do another version of this like 20, 30 years after that version? And he was like, I'd be honored to. So he on the production side, he's an iconic producer. Like he did Baby Baby by Amy
Yeah.
Grant. I mean, you name it, has 40 number ones, but he's a dear friend and a supporter. And he produced lead of this record, and he also did I'll Take You There. And I'm sure if I thought like Emily Weisband, she's a co-writer on one of the songs. Um, she just prolific writer, one of the best lyricists that I've ever set foot inside of a writer's room.
Yeah, her name is on a lot of major songs.
Oh
out
yeah,
there.
from pop to country, like so from BTS to Camila Cabello to she won her first Grammy. I think she was 22, if I'm not mistaken, for Thy Will with Hillary Scott from Lady A, or Lady Antebellum. And so anyway, I just wrote a record with my friends, and my friends happened to be doing their own stuff too, you know.
Were these songs written over the course of several years, or were all these kind of brand new, fresh songs that just happened recently?
Well, when we started, I was going through all my, because most songs start with a voice memo or an idea or a note. So I went through almost all of those. And I was like, surely there's gold here. There wasn't. After I was done watching all that and listening, I was like, man, I think maybe two things survived from about a decade of just notes. But that, you know, it wasn't a waste. It's all part of the journey, right? And so most all these songs were written new and fresh. And The Fall was one of the last songs to be written on the record, and Colby Wedgeworth produced that, wrote that with Paul Duncan as well. He's written, I mean, Lauren Daigle, you name it, like just incredibly gifted. I'm just grateful that they said yes. Got to work with Nick Schwartz on one of these. He did that Rise Up song by Kane, but from the production to the songwriters to the artists to the voices that are on this, I mean, all across the board, I'm just grateful that Nashville has, as I've said yes to doing music again, I feel like my friends have just rallied around me as an independent artist and just said, we're going to help as best as we can, and we support what you're doing. And that's been the gift of this entire record, has been the process of making it.
Yeah, so it sounds like that 4-year gap there to get this album out might have been frustrating, but it might have been God saying, your songs need to mature just a little more before we put all these out there.
Well, you would think that. I don't think I felt frustrated about it. I think I was on the opposite of that, of being tentative and hesitant about doing it, because I want to make sure that I did it for the right reasons. And whenever I was pursuing music in my 20s, whenever I was on American Idol, I think I was fighting to have the right heart to do music. But you don't really know if you've given something truly to God unless you let it go. And I think those 7 years of letting it go, and I built a real estate company here in town that's been successful. I have other team members that's been able to help fund this. So I don't, I mean, I'd love the right partnership from a label standpoint, but I don't have to have that.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have a team. It can look a little different these days. And so I would, I think that it was the right timing, and I enjoyed the process. I mean, there was a lot of work. It was a lot of work, and there's songs that we recorded and I paid for that we did not release because they were not good, you know. And it's just sometimes you're like throwing spaghetti against the wall to see what sticks, and sometimes you walk into the room and you get chills, and you just it's all part of the journey. It's all part of the ride. But I feel like what the stepping back into this, because I don't love everything about this. There's parts of this that are like traveling. It's not, I love seeing the world, but whenever you're talking about being away from your family and being away from friends and some stability, you've got to find a way to balance that work life. And part of our industry, whenever you feel so displaced, and if you're always pouring out, you've got to stay filled up. So I think there are parts of this that, honestly, I've gotten a front row seat at CeCe Winans and how she walks that out, because she's the founding church and basically my second mother, definitely my spiritual mother at Nashville Life and life in general. And she's just walked that out so beautifully, and she protects that time. So I think I've had this incubation period
Yeah.
of just how do I have to answer to God, not to anybody else and what anybody else thinks. So it's like, how do I do this in a way that honors God? And I don't think I could have done that in my 20s. Not at least the way that I'm doing it right now.
Yeah. We've mentioned a few times already during this conversation, deluxe album.
Mm-hmm.
What's the timeline on this deluxe version that'll be out?
This fall. It'll be out this fall.
We're going to wait a little bit.
Yeah, I think October. I think so what's happening right now is, so we just released the album, and in this moment in time with you and me sitting here on the couch, we got a single of Nobody Loves Like You coming. That's September 12th. And then Mr. Talkbox is coming into the fold with Wendy Moten. I did I'll Take You There, and we're going to do a trio EP with him on one of the versions. So it'll be an instrumental, the original Wendy Moten and my version, and then Mr. Talkbox is going to join us. So it'll be I'll Take You There in 3D. And then the deluxe album will release. And then the plan is for my buddy Chris Hauser to take 2 songs to Christmas. We have a couple songs, The Little Drummer Boy and Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, songs I've recorded in the past, but introducing them to a new audience through the medium of radio. And then now this is, I don't know if I could say this, but there's an iconic Southern gospel group and an iconic Southern gospel male vocalist, like probably one of the best and greatest of all time, that we were working on seeing if it would make sense to do a revamped version of Nobody Loves Like You. And so that would be next year. And outside of that, I'm starting to write for my next record, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. These songs that we just got out there, I mean, you've been holding on to them for a little bit. People haven't got to hear them. But now that they have got to hear them, what was that song that you really wanted people to finally hear, give a good listen to? And if they've already listened to the project, maybe go back and listen to those lyrics a couple more times.
I think the lyrics that stand out to me personally is a song called Tightrope. And it's kind of what we talked about in this conversation here. It was what did pursuing, because sometimes you can pursue the right goal with the wrong intentions, or the right goal with the wrong, without knowing who you are in Christ fully, without that stability that we need. I think Tightrope, I was looking back over my 20s, and like if you think like fame or notoriety or just acceptance, not even fame, just like validation, still a wrong reason, And so whenever I think about that, there's a line in the song, and I had just written with Emily Wiseman on Even Death, and that song starts off, I woke up from a nightmare. Turns out I wasn't dreaming. And it's like, oh, you got me. And then it goes like, paralyzed and terrified, I spent my days just asking why and weeping. Well, I had the way that she writes was in my mind. And I had a conversation with my friend Rachel Hale, who I was a finalist on. I think you know Rachel.
Yeah, everybody in Nashville knows Rachel.
Yeah, everybody knows Rachel. So I had written that song with Emily and Carter Froge. Then I had a conversation with Rachel, and it had been a bit of time had passed, and she had seen that I was not anxious. I used to be medicated for it because my father passed of cancer, brother passed in a car accident, and it was like this cloud that was hanging over me. And she had noticed that cloud had lifted. And so she's like, what changed? What changed? Where's the anxiety that I used to see? And then I got to think about that, and I sit down at my piano, and so I'm thinking about that conversation. I'm thinking about, the way I was like, what did I learn from writing with Emily, And so I'm sitting there at my piano, and I was just like, I was on a tightrope. And I saw this picture of like walking backwards in a blindfold, leaning over the edge of every high hope until I heard you call my name and said, follow me. And those lyrics in that chorus, it was my testimony of really seeing a visual picture of how dangerous it is for any of us to pursue any goal in the wrong way, and my hope, and I still have to wake up daily and choose the right thing and do it for the right reasons. But I do thank God for the ability to mature in that area. And I pray that I put no confidence in the flesh, so I pray that continues. And I will say, like, one of the things that helped me know is that I started doing things for free. And I'm not saying that you know, like, a worker's worth their hire, but whenever you took money out the way, and I was able to say yes to, and I was actually with Rachel that I remember back in our American Idol days, it's like, that was how I was making my money. That was how I was putting food on the table. That was how my rent didn't get paid if I didn't get paid to go sound good.
Right.
And then I made a little bit of money in real estate. And then I looked at my schedule and I said, you know what? I can do this. I don't have to have a penny. And I went and did it. And it was like this light bulb moment. And I think the enemy had lied to me for so many years, saying that I had done it for the wrong reasons. And the moment that I got the opportunity to take all of the stuff, it's like I was singing at a fair as this little podunk, you know, like circus of a place, and small audience, small nothing. It wasn't the big lights of singing for 20 to 40 million people that we had just sang on TV for. And you took away the people, like a lot of the crowd, I guess I should say, and then you take away the money aspect, and I still did it because I felt called to do it, and it just helped me heal from that lie.
Yeah, you talk about that successful real estate career. Is that going to allow you to take this on the road, this project, or are people just going to get like weekends here and there from Josh Wright?
You know what? It's going to be a balance. It's going to be a balance because my team, we've helped people with over 100 million in real estate in Nashville. And I have incredible team members. It's not just me. I could not do this on my own. But the thing is, with any goal that's worth going for, you can't do it by yourself. It's not, you know, you might be able to go faster by yourself, but you're going to go farther with other people. And there's no way I could have made this record by myself, you know? And I came to Nashville, it was so stupid, but I came to Nashville and Belmont thing. I was like, I'm going to take the audio engineering classes. I'm going to take the music business classes. I'm going to learn how to sing. I'm going to learn how to write. I'm just going to learn. And there are those rare people that can do that, you know, like that can produce their own stuff. That is not me. But even those of us that might be able to do a couple different things, like maybe some of us can write and sing, or maybe some of us can produce, write, and sing. I'm the guy, I can write and I can sing, but the rest of it, man, I I learned my lane. Well, as I fast forward to here, I think with real estate, it's the same thing, man. I can't do it all on my own, and I have a great team. And I can't believe I'm on a music interview shouting this out, but one of my team members, she got someone under a contract on a luxury house, like a $1.6 million home, under contract this past weekend, and I really had not much to do with it. Wow. And those people don't even know that Josh. They've never talked to me one time. And so
they help fund this new album. They don't know it, or the deluxe edition.
Yeah. They're helping in such a way, but it's like it's such a gift to have people that you trust, and that people trust and respect you, and that you can build something together. And as a leader, like this whole record's called Lead, like I know that my world has to be big enough on the music side or big enough on the real estate side for other people to plug and play with their gifts and talents and support, just like I get to plug and play into bigger things than I am. Like whenever I go lead worship at church, like I'm not the pastor, I'm not the, you know, all of the things that it takes to make that whole organization work. But in a healthy organization or a healthy community, you're always going to be poured into. You're always going to have peers that you're running the race with, and you're going to always have people that you're pouring into yourself. And I think as long as you have all three of those tiers in your life, I think whatever you're aiming to accomplish, like you're on the right track.
Yeah, love it. Well, the new album is out there now. Finally, we've got Josh Wright's Lead.
Yes.
It's out there streaming on all your services, whichever one's your favorite. Pull it up, Josh Wright, Lead. Good hanging out with you, man.
Man, thank you so much.
Yeah.